So we continue to try to sort out what 2022 and 2024 are going to look like politically. What's the country going to look like culturally? What's going to be the situation with the pandemic? What will be the situation with climate change? And one of the questions that remains is Donald Trump going to be a candidate in 2024? Because as of this point in time, the nomination seems his for the taking. He owns the Republican Party. Lindsey Graham said it and Cenk Uygur said it. I mean, there's really the guy owns the Republican Party. The voters can't seem to get away from the guy. During an interview 2 weeks ago or one and a half, or maybe it was like 3 years ago. No, it was in the last couple of weeks. Trump told Maria Bartiromo that he, for campaign finance reasons, can't make any announcements right now, but he's decided and he thinks people will be really happy and that he's going to do very well. The first signal that maybe he would be running. At the same time, when I was on Michael Cohen's program the other day, Michael Cohen said, I don't think Trump is going to run. There is a new report, very interesting report from Rolling Stone, which says Trump is telling his dinner plans he's planning to run for president. It was originally reported as Trump is telling his friends. And then, of course, it's not really clear Donald Trump has friends or normal relationships anyway. But the report from Rolling Stone's Andy Kroll is that in conversations with at least three people, a top Republican source says Trump has said he wants another run at the White House. Brace yourself, Donald Trump plans to run again. At least that's what the former president is telling dinner buddies. Trump has told at least three people he's dined with in recent months that he plans to run in 24. A former senior official at the RNC tells Rolling Stone, quote, I have three friends who have had dinner with him in the last couple of months. All three reported that his current plans are to run for president in 2024. The former RNC official says now whether he does or not is a different issue. We've still got 3 years to go, but he's telling people that. The ex-RNC official says the first two dinners took place in late spring, but the third dinner happened in the last 2 weeks. The first two companions came away from their conversation convinced Trump was serious and running. The third said he left the dinner not 100% sure Trump wants to run, but he likes being in the conversation. He wants to freeze the field and he wants his name out there. Spokeswoman for Trump did not respond to requests for comment about Trump's recent dinner conversations and whether he plans to run for president again. I think it's a completely legitimate thing to mention that just because Trump says he's going to run and just because Trump might really intend to run, he may not run. And I continue to say it's his health that may be a factor in that. It could be serious losses in 2022. It could be that he's talked out of it in some way. I could at the same time believe that Trump believes he's running and yet he won't run in the end. A couple more things from the article. A former Trump advisor who speaks with members of Trump's inner circle says he's been briefed on similar conversations that reflect the former president's current thinking. The ex-advisor says Trump started to give indications in private back in May that he was leaning towards running again, and that the more recent signs suggest he wants to run. The ex-advisor says, all the people I talk to who deal with him directly think as of now he is running. Now, why do we care about this, guys? Can't we move on? The fact that this guy, number one, is like a baby dictator and his supporters are still with him. Number two, he lost everything for Republicans. He lost them the House in 2018. He lost them the Senate in 2020. He lost them the White House in 2020. He plays coy with the vaccine, but gets it in secret, but then tells them in March and they don't get it. And it's not clear he's responsible for their deaths. And it's not clear they even know or care. And he still has the vast majority of the Republican electorate behind him. And at least from a public standpoint, the majority of the Republican officials behind him. Not only does it tell us how broken, depraved, and disgusting this Republican Party is and this electorate is, it tells us a lot about the fact that this guy could still be a major player, if not the presumptive nominee, if he chooses to run and if he's healthy enough to run in 2024. It's quite stunning. And, what was the mistake many of us, myself included, made in 2016? I overestimated the intelligence of the Republican primary electorate, number one. And number two, I overestimated the degree to which the non-wacky right-wingers would uniformly realize the danger of Trump. Because remember, overwhelmingly, when we say who's to blame for Trump winning in 2016? Well, yeah, the guy chose to run, sure. But we've got to blame the people who voted for him primarily. But remember those people who say they're on the left, who in 2016 were saying, Hillary and Trump, they're two sides of the same coin. What? That is also partially to blame. So the mistake I made in 2016 was I overestimated the intelligence of the Republican electorate never to make this guy their nominee. And I overestimated the urgency of the entire electorate in total so that we would have enough independents and left wingers and Democrats and progressives and whoever else to say, no, there's nothing similar about these two other than they're both members of Homo sapiens. We've got to get out there and vote for Hillary Clinton. And that's why it's so dangerous now. And that's why the fact that he still owns this party is so scary. And why the fact that, at least based on these reports, he plans to run is something that should horrify us all. One of our sponsors today is Sheath Underwear. It's the middle of summer. That can mean a lot of sweating, sticking, chafing with traditional underwear, but not with Sheath Underwear, which has created unique boxer brief designs with multiple ergonomic compartments in the front. Keeps everything separate, cool, dry, and comfortable, even in the hottest time of year, especially when you need it. Sheath Underwear was invented by an Iraq War veteran who was looking for a solution to the problems he was having with traditional underwear in the desert heat. And he realized that what he came up with is perfect for everyday use. And that's where Sheath Underwear came from. It keeps you dry and comfortable like no other underwear can. Give Sheath Underwear a try. I've had a great experience with it. I know you will too. You can find the link right underneath this video. And don't forget to use the promo code PACMAN for 20% off.